Know your audience and what their access is. Did you know that last year Pew Internet put out a study that showed that if you account for mobile internet, there is no digital divide. Everyone has access to the internet. It just depends what they're using to access the internet. So to Susan's point, is your site mobile friendly? 25% of the people on Twitter are black. That's a Business Insider study that was done. Right, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So, understand exactly how your audience is using the internet. When we look at Hispanics, eMarketer has shown that more Hispanics watch TV less than they use the internet. They use the internet more than TV, and they tend to do a lot of multitasking. So they will be on their cell phone, they will be playing their Wii, they'll be watching TV, and they'll be on the internet all at the same time. Why? I don't know. The study didn't factor that, doesn't tell us that. I'm telling you the behavior. There are a lot of ways to, so really think about who's your audience, and then don't make assumptions about how they use the internet and where they're hanging out. So there are a lot of ways to do searches to see the behavior. An important place that people often neglect are their own website logs. If you take a look in the logs of your website, many of you have Facebook pages for your nonprofits or your activism, or you're using Twitter, look at your main website, look at the search logs, and you'll see that Facebook and probably Twitter are in the top 5 and probably top 3 referrers of traffic to your website. And if you understand that, doesn't it mean that you'll then put a lot more energy and emphasis on your social media, if that's where people are finding you and then clicking over to understand more about what you're doing? What search terms are people using to find you on the internet? It may not be what you think. There's a great book that I'd recommend to you, who's a friend of some of us on the panel, Vanessa Fox's book, Marketing in the Age of Google. It's written for a business audience, but there's a lot of things that are highly relevant. All of the book is really relevant to nonprofits. In terms of Twitter, what hashtags are people using? Where are people actually hanging out? What pages and content are most popular on your site? For one site, we actually looked at their search and said, the thing that people most like to do is look at your blog. All of the top 5 most popular pages were blog related. We suggested that they pay a lot more attention to their blog and shift some of their energy there. Another tip that I have for folks is to build capacity. So there are a couple of ways you can build capacity. There's human resources, your people, your personnel. A lot of people in their organizations have the intern managing their social media outreach. How many of you know an organization? You don't have to fess up if it's yours. How many of you know an organization? Right, okay, so would you send an intern to talk to the New York Times or ABC News or Ashton Kutcher? Because all of those people, you don't know who's following you. It's not necessarily your followers. Anyone who's really understands Twitter, and you guys are pretty sophisticated, you know that it goes beyond the number of individual followers you may have to the hashtag you're using that may reach millions of people, or just the terms that you're using may reach a much wider audience that gets attention. So make sure that your personnel actually understands this technology beyond just the intern. But even if it is just the intern, make sure that that person has the talking points and the information they need, so that if ABC News is watching them, or is responding to them, that they're able to pass that message on. They're able to understand the implications of the work that they're doing. So give your team the training. Then there's technology capacity. Is your site mobile friendly? We just talked about the importance of mobile. How many of you have taken the time to make sure that your site, have run it through emulators, and there are emulators online, they're free, that you can actually look and see how your website looks on a mobile phone. This is really key. Go big or go home. Dedicate the time to making social media work. There was an N10 study last year that said that surveyed about 1,000 nonprofits. And most of those nonprofits said that at least 25 to 50% of a full-time FTE was dedicated to social media. And that's a good start. And most of those, about 80% of those nonprofits, and this was at the nadir of the economic crisis, most of them said that they were going to increase staffing. Now, if you've got a major push that includes really reaching out to a community, it means you're going to need more than that 25% of a person. Right? You're going to need to actually build, again, the capacity of your team so that multiple people can be hitting these communities online at the same time and really concentrate. Try to drive home with our clients is behind each tweet and each email and status update is an actual person. You have to treat online people like allies and not like sheep. And you know, they may have more fans than you do. You don't know the power now of an individual person when you approach them or when they tweet back to you. So if you're treating, you know, each of your contacts really as a person, as an ally, as a human being, it's going to change the way that you approach your communications online and via mobile. Thank you.
Awesome. Yay. That was great.